Naraka Bladepoint, for those of you who do not know, is a melee-focused battle royale, which is definitely different in a world dominated by shooter battle royales such as Fortnite, Goku Battle Pass Ninja Simulator, and then of course Apex Legends. But who plays either of those anymore? And so the beauty of Naraka Bladepoint really is that melee combat aspect. This battle royale is insane with just that. Anyone who is into like Souls games or even melee fighters, I think this game is perfectly fit for you. I know I've always wanted some sort of Dark Souls battle royale game, and this is definitely up to my expectations. This game actually released on PC already 2 years ago and Xbox 1 year ago, and I've been waiting ever since for the day's release on PlayStation, and oh boy has it finally come. Let's start by just going over what my thoughts about this game are, and as you can tell about my enthusiasm, I think this game is absolutely amazing. The combat in it is really flashy and fun with a high skill cap for players who want to excel and dominate these scrubs on the battlefield. It's pretty much just like any other battle royale where you drop into a location of your choosing and then you loot the area, opening these chest-like things to get weapons, armors, buffs, and all of that will improve your damage and defenses, or even change a move on a specific weapon to something even stronger and an entirely new moveset. But unlike in any shooter royale where every gun is basically the same, and you just want the highest tier gun you can find, all the weapons in Naraka are all extremely unique to one another and vastly different movesets from one another, so finding a weapon that you like using and having gotten good with it is really satisfying in a game like this. Getting a little more in-depth with the combat, it's a lot like these Souls-like games. You lock onto your opponent and try and outspace them and outplay them with any means necessary, whether that's using your skills in combat or even the terrain to your advantage to gain that upper hand on your opponents. Knowing when to strike is really important in this game. Just spamming attacks can get you parried, and if you do get parried in this game, you actually drop your weapon, so if you don't have a backup, then you're as good as dead, which I actually really enjoy because it even humbles me a few times, making me realize I need to calm it down a bit and play a little more critical. One of the even bigger features that got me and a lot of other players hooked is the movement. The movement is so unique just from your dashing to climbing, but the main one by far is the grapple hook. Yes, you heard that correctly, you get a grapple hook in this game, allowing you to basically be a lesser Spider-Man, slinging from rooftop to rooftop. But it's not just for terrain. If you're having an annoying player trying to run from you, you can even grapple onto them and pull yourself in, landing some hits and finishing them off. You can't let anyone ever be a straggler in this game, they will never get away from your killing spree. The grapple hook is by far one of the biggest components in this game that really can show the skill gap between a good and a bad player when using it correctly. Even if you're not into like battle royales, or hell, even if you're not into PvP in general, there are actually more game modes that fit every person's playstyle. There's the Bloodbath, which is just a giant free-for-all game mode where it starts you off with weapons, armor, just about everything you need to go to town and start killing other players. Anyone who dies respawns within 5 seconds, so you just kind of do that all over again. It's just a giant deathmatch pretty much, but it is super fun if you're not into the die have to re-queue type of situation. There is even a PvE mode allowing you to play certain campaigns for certain characters and fight mobs instead of players while getting backstory and lore for each individual person. On top of all that, the game is free to play, so what's even stopping you from testing it out? It's even crossplay, so you're able to play with your friends across Xbox, PC, and now PlayStation. And now for a few couple tips that I've learned throughout the game that I've been playing. Now just know, I'm not the best in the world. I usually get at least first to second place in most of my matches, so I'd say I'm pretty decent, but I'm not the best, so these are just kind of a few things that I got to say. But starting off, I would go instantly into your settings. You'll probably want to turn off the bots because there is already a full-on bot mode, and this pretty much makes it so anytime you queue up for a match, it will pair you with the majority of players, but it will fill up bots if it's taking a little bit too long. And so you will actually be in a match with like 80 to 90% bots and the other 10% only being players, so that's something that I instantly turned off because why would I want to kill AI? And so another thing that you guys really need to know for combat wise, there are 3 types of attacks. There's the basic normal attack, which are like white looking swings, and then there's these blue attacks that give you hyper armor. In these states you can't be knocked back or staggered, so these are the moves that you want to use to be trading with someone. The last move is the red attacks, which are just parries. On PS5, it's R1 to parry, and if you connect with an opponent's attacks, you will knock them down, they will lose their weapon, then you can follow up with a regular attack, that being R2 again on the PlayStation, and do a huge amount of damage reposting your opponent. A kind of common sense grapple tip I can give you is don't go spamming around with your grapples. You only get so many in fights. They're extremely important if you use them all just traversing the map. Then once you come across a fight, you might be screwing yourself because now you're fully out of them. Even if you just need them to get away if you're in a bad situation and surrounded by players, I would highly recommend trying to conserve them as much as possible. Even though they spawn quite frequently and are almost on every person's body that you kill, I still like to be cautious in case you can't find any. Another thing to know is that whenever it comes to basic combat, almost every attack moves you forward, so use that to your advantage. Use them to either close the distance between your enemy or even just a natural movement in general. Using certain attacks like in the air can keep your momentum while chasing another player or just trying to get to another point of the map as fast as possible. Another one is to make sure you know when to engage, especially if you're on comms with your teammates. There were so many times whenever we got destroyed because one of us went rushing in too far while the other of us were like a little bit too far back, so by the time that we got there, they were already dead and then we couldn't even help them. Knowing when to engage is really important, especially if you're able to like have an advantage point on your opponent, because you want to find any moment where your enemies are split up. If you go barging into a group of enemies, you can be infinitely stun locked and infinitely killed. It is really bad. You want to try and be as far away as possible from multiple people as you can be. If you can watch them, wait for that one person to fall behind or go too far forward, catch them out of place, and that's already going to give you a huge advantage on the battlefield. Now this one's a little bit of a personal preference thing, but find a weapon that you are really good with. There will always be some weapons that you really like the moveset for that you will find perfectly fits your playstyle. For example, I hate the nunchucks. I think they feel super weird and clunky, but my friend, the second he sees one, he's like, give them to me, I love them, and somehow he just goes off with them that I could never do. So once you find that perfect weapon that fits you, there is a good chance that your entire gameplay will change drastically and you will instantly just turn into a beast. But for the most part, this game, you're going to have to figure it out all on your own. There's going to be some things you like, there's going to be some things you don't like, but I think everyone should be giving this game a chance because now that it's free to play, even looking at the Steam charts, it's already became the number 5 played game the second it became free to play. But that's going to do it for me, everyone. I really hope you guys enjoy the video. Let me know if you want to watch more of these clips of me dominating people in PvP on this game. And let me know what you guys think about the game, if you've played it yet, or even if you've just watching this video for the first time and you're like, what is this game? What do you think about it, just from the gameplay in the background? So, I'm heading out. I hope you guys have a good one. Take it easy. Enjoy the rest of these clips. Peace.
I see our foes.
I shall purify the souls of their filth.
Death is a tragedy.
Except when it's fun.
I can't fight with this.
Be healed.
Feel the might of the
Worthy of my skills again.
unleashed. It's nice to feel protected.
What? Why are you attacking me?
They dare attack us? Carnage is a beautiful thing.
True warrior knows patience.
The shadow will shortly begin to spread.
Death is a tragedy.
Except when it's fun.
We've got enough Dark Tide coins. Go to the Rift dealer to buy Rebirth.
The shadow thickens.